Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, Nate Almighty, and I'm back with another Raising Kanan Season 4 Theory and Prediction video. The topic of today's theory is Famous was killed by Captain Baptiste and Raquel Thomas for knowing too much, as well as hints towards a possible Baptiste and Rock conversation and meetup, which we would see in a flashback. The motive for this theory is this: Captain Baptiste will be found to have had a lot of reasoning to have something to do with Famous's death. And it all ties into his career and how he would want to end his career upon retirement, as well as Rock would have an invested interest in order to reach out to Captain Baptiste, as him being the number one person who could keep a lot of things coming out into the press that would affect Captain Baptiste in the 117th precinct even worse than it will reflect Raquel and Kanan. This video is going to be another banger, of course. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you're new here. Without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so Baptiste, Captain Baptiste that is, stands to gain the most from the death of Famous when you really think about it. And of course, the very next person who stands to gain from Famous's death would be Raquel Thomas. There stands a chance we have a moment similar to Rock and Unique's Southside moment, but this time it will be Rock reaching out to Captain Baptiste through her lawyer, Andre, okay? And what I want to say is this. One of the 48 laws of power is appealing to the other person's self-interest. Keep that in mind as we continue, okay? Rock would connect with Captain Baptiste through her lawyer. She will explain her connection to Howard, knowing he wouldn't want to risk having to ruin his legacy as a captain when he's so close to retirement. And how? By empowering Sean Famous Figueroa to be able to expose even a tiny bit of the corruption going on in the 117th precinct. I'm assuming already that Captain Baptiste at least knows a little bit of the illegalities Howard and a lot of other officers have been up to over the years under his authority. In season 3, we all remember that Ronnie was sent home with other inmates due to a whole other cop during his run as captain. He seemed very close to Howard and would have known even more about Howard's activities than that other cop. We could even assume he already got his own hands dirty in the past, and I'm talking about Captain Baptiste, of course. Last season, while having a sit down with the feds and Howard, Baptiste mentioned how he hoped Howard didn't have any girlfriends. This may indicate he already knew about Rock and Howard from way back when she was the CI for Howard, or he could be referencing the woman of the night who Howard was dealing with, right? But more specifically, it's probably Rock. And he was giving Howard a subtle signal to keep his shit together because the feds are on the prowl. And it definitely seemed like the captain was going out of his way to not listen to Burke speaking the truth about what's going on with Howard, almost as if he had something to hide. And when you think about this, right, of course he would have something to hide. Anything bad that goes on with whoever's under him in the police force, it will reflect badly on his leadership, and he will be taking the biggest hit as far as public persona wise and things like that, right? He disgraced his whole family name, his whole run as a captain, things like that, right? So once Rock would decide to personally reach out to Baptiste, and I'm assuming this will be either in a message through her lawyer, which it gets to Baptiste, or they could arrange their own sit down, he would know or remember who Rock is or was. And he would also have access to all the information Burke has that proves Howard's paternity of Kanan, which is one of the most important things that both sides would want to cover up, okay? And he knows how Howard went out of his way to protect Famous on more than one occasion illegally. He would have needed to know how much Famous knew or how deep the rabbit hole actually goes. This is already enough motive to have Famous tortured like he was. And him being dumped under a bed in the way that he was definitely something it seems like a cop would do in order to cover up a murder they committed. Famous will be tortured for refusing to implicate the Thomas family on anything. He would be the person most in the unknown, even though he is going through the worst. Now, what gets him killed is from him being able to connect Howard's name to Kanan's paternity test, and he would offer to give up information on Howard in order to be released. But after Howard is killed, the next scapegoat would have had to have been Captain Baptiste, right? And he wasn't having that. So him and Rock would come up with a plan. Baptiste would keep his hands clean as possible, but he would destroy all evidence that connects Rock and Kanan to Howard, as I believe there will come a time when we know that all the evidence Captain Burke had has been destroyed for whatever reason. This will happen. We know that it will never come to be proven of Kanan's paternity with Howard. Kanan remained a Stark and known as a Stark for the rest of his life, right? Including the evidence gathered by Burke, they would find a way to keep Captain Burke quiet as well, who probably did his own share of dirt in the past. And that would be the way to keep him quiet. Yo, listen, shut up about this. We know what you was doing when you was Captain Burke, right? We know what you was doing, right? Also, Baptiste would have the job of having to keep Nicole's father and mother quiet, with the possibility of maybe Rock even doing that as well, right? Threatening to kill people, this, that, and the third, right? And he would tell Rock to deal with Famous when they release him and to find out what else he knows. And here's the thing, right? A bail was never said about Famous. Who released Famous? Seems like Famous was released without a bail. And if he was released without a bail and a bail was never mentioned, then it's easy for the police to release him and for them to make sure Rock and Marvin knew where Famous was going. So when we see what looks like it may be Marvin holding a gun to the back of Famous, maybe it was Marvin, right, doing that, but directing Famous to go with these other police officers, right? Right? Rock then could have paid those cops the money that Kanan's gonna see Rock give, right? And have them smoke Famous in order to keep him from destroying her family. And of course, in the middle of that would be torture so they can figure out what's going on, right? Also, I want to add, it's possible once Howard was killed that they looked for information in Howard's house and they found the tape of Captain Burke questioning Howard. Captain Baptiste would definitely want to keep that a secret, right? Right? And the reason why Rock would choose to get the police involved in doing whatever's going to happen to Famous is because she would have even more dirt on Captain Baptiste and the cops, just in case he ever planned to try to take her down for everything, right? Y'all let me know what y'all think. As a matter of fact, I also want to mention that I seen the Universe of Power make a theory video where he suspected that maybe Snaps and Pop has something to do with Famous' death and involving the cops because Kanan seen they had some illegal cops. Now, my thing is this. I don't really see it, but that's also a possibility. I'm thinking if the cops have nothing to do with this, then the next people to look at, right, are Snaps and Pop. We could say Unique has something to do with it, but still Unique really has no reason. So I'm going to say that I believe it was a big conspiracy, right? It goes above Detective Garcia pay grade, as Garcia probably does not know to the furthest extent of what happened to Famous, and he's trying to figure it out. Maybe to the point where next season we'll see him try to be that good cop that tries to get it done but ends up getting killed because he knows too much as well. right? I don't feel like he 100% knows everything. And for what happened to Famous, it would have to go above Garcia's pay grade to where Baptiste has something to do with it. And if not that, then we could look at Snaps and Pop, because I still don't feel like Unique had anything to do with it. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Can't teach that shit, nigga. Come on. That's God-gifted. That's touch my ink. That's on the dome, nigga.